Bitcoin has been showing us some strength over these last couple of days, and we certainly have the possibility of that breakout towards the upside where things will get very heated and very fun again, most likely as we do approach those next areas of resistance at about $38,000 and so on. And we're going to get to that in just a little bit. But before we do go into covering that, I want to talk to you about the support that Bitcoin has because, well, actually, if we take a step back and just kind of look at where we are right now with this range, we are very clearly in a sideways price range for Bitcoin right now. It is very clearly a price range that stretches between the highs at about 34.8 and the lows at about, I don't know, let's call it 33.5. And we have been in between these two levels now basically since we got up here, which was a whole nearly week ago, 6 days ago now, that we've been here. And one of the craziest things that this has actually done for us on the weekly time frame, which is well worth paying attention to, is that we have formed a massively bullish weekly candle right here, ladies and gents. I mean, I cannot stress enough, this green box was so important for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has just shot straight through it absolutely amazingly. I mean, this green box has to be has to have more opacity or whatever you'd call it, because I mean it was a very, very significant area of resistance, and we have now closed a weekly candle above it. So in terms of the really long-term signs that this market could be showing is that, maybe we're going to rise higher. Maybe we're punching up to that 60K range eventually, maybe even within this uptrend. We have done the best thing we possibly could. Now, we've done this before, and we've done it very similarly back here in 2019. So I do want you guys to keep this in mind. We had the same equivalent level back here at $6,000, and we blasted straight through this very similar fashion, actually. And then we rose significantly higher. It looked like absolutely nothing could stop Bitcoin from getting back up to that all-time high, but it turned out to be a massive fake out, and the price just kind of did some annoying shit for the next year. And that is very possible to be happening again. I want you guys to be keeping that in mind. That is like very, very similar to what Bitcoin is doing right now. Obviously, there are a few big differences. I think the biggest difference is Bitcoin has moved up in such a healthy way. I mean, we traded down in the pits of hell for, what is this, from like May right up until when did we really get the breakout? This was back in March. So you have June to March. I mean, insane, nearly a year, 9 months, 10 months time period here. Absolutely insane. And then we did another fucking 200 days of consolidation. So, it's very different to 2019 in that regard. I mean, 2019 was definitely a lot faster. 2019, we had about 3 months of shit down here, and then we were happy again. So, this bear market has definitely been way worse, way more taxing, way more difficult for absolutely everybody in the space. And as a result of the kind of consolidation that we've had leading into these moves, I don't necessarily think that this move is not going to last just because of that. We can draw parallels with 2019 and talk about how, this is a massive fake out, and I'm not giving those parallels too much credit. I just don't really think that that's what we're looking at, but it's worth paying attention to because you might disagree with me, and I'm not here to convince you of anything anyway. I just want to kind of lay out all of the facts that I'm seeing and that you make, of course, your own informed decisions, which is very, very cool. And obviously, with all of this volatility, it is opening up some really, really cool opportunities. We're going to go to talk about that in just a second on this YouTube video as well, but I do want to point out to those of you that are watching this video today with me here, that you are getting some huge bonuses with the links in the description down below. You're going to get over $196,000 in bonuses when you use my links down below, which are fucking crazy. Bybit being my main exchange is going to give you up to 30K in completely free trading capital. All you've got to do is use my link down below and start trading. That is it. They will give you that money in your account. And if you want to buy and sell shit coins to your heart's desire, you're never going to pay fees on that, which is super, super cool as well. CoinW takes it into a very different direction because they're actually going to give you $50 for free to trade with only if you open a futures account using my link down below. And that does not even require a deposit. So super cool offer there. It's also a no KYC exchange, so great for people that are interested in keeping their privacy nice and tight. And obviously on those lines, BingX is also a very good option. And by the way, I was struggling to show you guys that you can trade traditional finance on BingX. I don't know why it doesn't show it on the web app, but I do have my phone here logged into BingX, and you can actually see, one second, let me just pull this up for you guys, that this is the one and only Tesla stock. Why are you not focusing? There we go. You can see that right there. So that is Tesla, and that is on BingX. You can see the logo down at the bottom. I'm so bad at pointing to my pointing to my phone when I'm holding it in front of the camera, but that is there. I just for some reason can never show it to you on video until just now, so I did want to clear that up. But let's come back to the video here before we talk about the exchanges a little bit more, and yeah, really focus on where Bitcoin could go if we end up seeing a little bit of a drop from here, because I do think that Bitcoin's in a pretty good place. We have some really strong support. We are now kind of angled toward the upside over here, which is absolutely fantastic. We kind of range to the top. We can actually see this a little bit clearer on the 1 hour time frame. We kind of managed to bear with me here, to range to the top right at the beginning, and then we've kind of done this zigzag, and this one took a little bit longer, but we are kind of in the top half of this now, which I think is really, really interesting. We've made really good use of our 1 hour Ichimoku cloud. We don't have any more Ichimoku support or even really any significant developments on the hourly time frame. But one thing that I do think is interesting is if we just kind of take this rough midpoint, this line tends to be really useful in the market. You have the low down here, you have the middle where we just kind of get little rejections or even little support bounces. So really, really useful midpoint line that you can often draw between the two ranges that we find ourselves in. And it's really it's very simple. The more we find ourselves above the midpoint, the more bullish the market is, the more bullish the stance of the market is. So that's absolutely beautiful. Volume here on Bitstamp is also coming in a little bit with these moves as well. So clearly at the moment, we are positioned pretty nicely to move upward. And if we do look at this on the 4 hour time frame to see where some of our support is, it is kind of far away even now. We haven't actually got that much support down here, in all honesty. I mean, up here, I should say it is going to be, a whole couple of $1,000 lower than where we are right now, where we can finally start to use this area of support. But it's big support, so that is really, really good. And it also lines up with some of the other key indicators that we've been watching, like the daily EMA ribbon, which has continued to catch up to the trend right here, albeit, of course, very, very slowly. And actually, on that note, there's something big that I want to show you, something that has some really, really big implications, and it is to do with the RSI. Now, you guys know I don't actually look at the RSI particularly often, and it's for a couple of reasons, but one of the main reasons is because most people just literally set their IQ on fucking fire when the RSI comes into play. I don't know why people just allow them to be massive. They allow themselves to be massively stupid when they use the RSI. But if we kind of keep it, on the same level as this YouTube channel right here, ladies and gents, today, just keep it 4 flies right here for a second. I want to talk to you about the RSI, because a lot of the time what people think is that when the RSI really starts to top out, that's actually where the market is going to collapse. But really what the RSI means is it's the relative strength index, which means that if you have a very high reading, then the relative strength is very high. That's literally all it means. So to be bearish in the face of a high RSI is pretty foolish. But of course that's how you get taught about the RSI when you're first entering the crypto space or whatever, and stuff like that. You just wouldn't really need you wouldn't really learn anything else about it, because most people wouldn't know, the people that are teaching. But of course, right here, we're gonna keep it real. We've got some really, really good instances with the RSI right here. This is back in January of 2023. We hit an RSI reading very similar to where we are right now, about 88, 90, roughly around there, which is where we are in the present day. I know that my camera is kind of hiding it, but you can still make this out. And just after that, I mean, we just continued to move up. On this occasion here, it did take a couple of weeks, but we set brand new all-time highs off this. I mean, the price basically doubled off this low up to the next all-time high. So the RSI didn't really forecast anything problematic. This was the exception of the last 5 times, excluding today. The last 5 times that the RSI went this high, this was the exception back in what was this, like I think May of 2019 or something like that, June of 2019. And the previous 2 times that we hit such high RSI readings again, the market just continued to rip higher. So the RSI, generally speaking, is when it's this strong, it is a sign of the market actually being in a really strong kind of positioning to continue to rise up. So that is something I want you guys to be keeping in mind. We are showing the same kind of signs right now as well. Here's another look at this, by the way. This one, we're looking back at 2015 all the way up to 2019. And we've got the same kind of picture here. I mean, we might see a little bit of a setback over here. We still continue to rally up. I can't really zoom in on these charts, unfortunately, but you'll really get the image here. this occasion, it took Bitcoin a long time, but it also didn't drop too bad, I think. I mean, granted, this is a very zoomed out chart, but for the most part, we're seeing that, there's still upside to go, and it might be short term. It might not necessarily last a particularly long amount of time. But we'll write about that, later on. I mean, if we are actually looking at something similar to that right now, where the RSI is peaking and there's only, let's say, a couple of days, 1 or 2 weeks left of, intense upward price action, well, that could be enough to put us above $40,000, So that's not to say that we're going to stay above $40,000. It definitely might not stay that high, but it could definitely be enough to send us way higher than where we are right now. And, on the note of things potentially not going so great, I mean, it's these support indicators that I'm really liking right now. This daily EMA ribbon stretches between 29,000 and 31.5 roughly. And that's a really good support range for Bitcoin. All the way down to 29,000, even, significantly lower than this, you guys have seen my analysis, gives Bitcoin space to, drop down to our critical areas of support that are over here, where we were basically finding a lot of resistance throughout the course of 2023. It allows us to kind of capture some support down here, but also gives us space for that potential deviation where Bitcoin does come down here, does fuck around here a little bit, but maybe just quickly grab some liquidity, and then we do something like this. Very, very common price action for Bitcoin. Obviously here is a great example. It's where I entered my Bitcoin trade, which I'm of course still in. There's no reason to close such a profitable trade. Obviously, you want to make money off your positions. You don't just want to close them, when they're making you money. But we had this really nice, for example, diagonal support line, and we kind of got this deviation and then recovered back above it, and it didn't really last, but still an interesting line nonetheless. So kind of grabbing liquidity like this, these really, really quick grabs, 2-3 days down here and then back up, very much in line with Bitcoin's behavior. Very annoying. Very, very annoying, but definitely something that Bitcoin could be pulling off. Granted, it doesn't seem to do that too much, and that does give me a little bit more confidence. There's a couple different positions I'm seeing here, some of which I'm already considering, actually all of which I'm already considering making. I will give VIPs the final update on what I end up doing. You can join VIP by following these steps on screen. By the way, it is 50% off right now, so definitely do take advantage of that. If you're interested in jumping in with this beautiful sale, you are getting it half price. There is a potential long kind of above these resistance levels right up into the next areas of resistance, which is kind of why it's not ideal. The risk here is that maybe we kind of, reach up, grab my long entry level and then smash this thing back down, which would be absolutely horrible. We reach up, grab my long entry, and then we go slightly higher, but it doesn't really last, and then we're kind of back down, and that would be because this is an area of resistance. So it's something that I need to look into a little bit more. Honestly, it's one of those decisions that I'm probably going to have to make on the fly very close to the time, and that's assuming I'm even awake when it happens, which doesn't always happen, which is completely fine. It's not a problem to miss opportunities in the market, especially if you would have to significantly alter your life to do that, or anything like that, because now you're just opening you're inviting demons basically as a trader. I mean, you're inviting a lot of problems, you're inviting a lot of fear of missing out and so on. You really don't want that in you. You take what you get, and that's it. That is really, really important. To the downside as well, same thing. I mean, really, really good support here. We haven't tested it as support, but I would have to expect that it's going to be good support. So, whatever happens, whether we go higher and then come back down, or whether we kind of drop down from here, I would love to see this area turn into support. That would be the most fucking bullish thing Bitcoin could do on this chart. I've been pretty clear with you guys since we were down here at $17,000. I was telling you that I'm seeing 30K and potentially even 40K. Actually 40K is all the way up here. I've always maintained my position that even though I think that the market could end up going that high, I do still believe that we are in a bear market. And just within that bear market, we're seeing an uptrend, which is actually very normal, especially, if you look at this bear market overall and we really start to zoom out. I mean, it's been quite a horrible bear market, so if this was going to just get even more shit, you'd really need a long period in the market to really destroy trust in the traders of the space. So, that could definitely happen. I would not like to see that, but there's no point putting out my opinion on that. That's going to happen if the market wants it to, and that's it. And our job is to just be prepared for it. But if you are of the opinion that actually we're going to be looking at something that's, kind of a little bit like this, real deep crypto winter, then you need what we've done right here. So please do keep that in mind. I've always been of the opinion that we are in an uptrend within a bear market, which means that we're still in a bear market at the end of the day. That doesn't necessarily mean I think we're going to do some horrific things like what I just showed you, but it certainly means I'm prepared for it if we do. Ultimately, these questions don't matter, and I think that's something which is really important to consider. The way I've made money off this market, the way you guys have seen my profits come in within this market, have been very simple trades. Literally me just buying areas of support, and going long off them. Very, very straightforward. Here is a massively outdated screenshot of my Bitcoin position. This was back when it was only at 200% profit. Now I'm up at 600% profit, which is very cool. I can actually bring that up and show it to you guys. And of course, this trade was executed on Bybit as well. So, most of my trades are happening on Bybit. You can check it out again by following these steps on screen. And of course, you've got a couple alternatives that are also well worth considering. As I did mention, CoinW and BingX both don't require KYC. So that could definitely be interesting. I love that as well. I do just want to show you that position on Bybit as well, just so we can kind of see where we're at over there. My Tron trade has crossed 200% profit, and my Bitcoin trade is at 594%. Let me bring that up on screen for you guys so you can see that. Bam, there we go. Take a look at that. 594%. Absolutely beautiful on that Bitcoin position. I'm so bad at holding my phone. But there you go. Very, very cool indeed. And that was all done on Bybit. So definitely do check them out. They are the best exchange in the space. There's no debate about that. So definitely very, very cool option. Obviously, I've got a highlight. If you're in a country that's restricted, these exchanges don't use them. It's not allowed. But let's move on. And I want to talk to you a little bit more about a couple interesting charts that I've pulled up for you guys. With the RSI, I think one thing that we haven't, we have actually looked at that. And then the other big chart that I wanted to talk to you about today was the Bitcoin dominance. The Bitcoin dominance chart has seen some kind of pullbacks over here, nothing really big. One thing that's really interesting, if we do kind of really take a nice big zoomed out approach to this Bitcoin dominance chart, is that there's still a lot more upside to go. Granted, Bitcoin's dominance is kind of facing a bit of resistance right now, which we can actually illustrate by drawing this box right here. Bam, take a look at that. There's a lot of resistance right here. But if we break this, there's still a lot of upside to go. Just to the next key areas on this chart, we've got 57%. We've got, just gargantuan moves up here, 70%. We haven't seen this since beginning of 2021. This is real bull market shit. And I think that's one of the things that's important to take note of is, as we start to talk about these really big Bitcoin dominance targets, they're completely realistic in my opinion if the market does end up trending higher significantly from here. But that's kind of the big discussion as well. Is the market actually going to trend up significantly higher from here? We're sitting at about 34.5, and our metrics are quite overextended right now. I think that people want to be ignoring that, but I won't. Even though I'm still bullish on the market, I will acknowledge that. Look at this. We've got a 68 reading on the fear and greed index right here. Definitely very, very strong bullish energy. We take a look at the long and short ratio, and it's actually telling us something a little bit different. For Binance retail traders, they're still majority short, so they really feel like the market is going to be dropping, and even Bybit combined is slightly majority short. So, these are indications. Usually the price is going to do the opposite, especially of what Binance retail does. I don't make the rules. It just happens to be that Binance traders are among the worst in the whole market. And when they're betting heavily in one direction, you can typically expect things to swing the other way. So at least I can, and that's what I'm doing here. So, this is telling me that we're still ready to be a little bit more bullish. This is telling me that, look, it's not going to be the first time in Bitcoin's history that Bitcoin moves up with such a high fear and greed rating, but don't feel like it can move up forever. I think that's a really important point. If we're seeing the fear and greed index this high, that is a strong indication that, we're probably, we don't have that much left in the tank. At least in my experience, that's kind of how it looks. And we can actually go back and look at the fear and greed index, actual chart, and look at this across time, and you'll start to see that when we start punching in such high numbers, we don't stay up there that high for that long. I mean, over here, this was more or less a month, a little bit more than a month. This was probably our longest kind of stint at such high levels. But here's another kind of example where it's only a matter of a couple of days. Over here, a couple of weeks. It's really not that much. So let's not get comfy up here. As long as we're seeing this thing kind of pull back a little bit, then that is still progress. If we look at this on the monthly, we did see a nice dip down to 65 and up to 72. Now we're back down to 68. Of course, this is going to update later on today. So we'll keep an eye on that, but the fear and greed index is definitely quite strong at the moment, and that is going to give us some indication about how like I said, greedy people are getting in this market. So as that gets kind of more and more explosive, that's where we might start running into some more problems for the market here. So that's going to be something that I will continue to keep an eye on in this market. Obviously, all right here on the Four Flies dashboard, but all of this to say that if we start looking at some more kind of explosive Bitcoin dominance targets, obviously these altcoins are going to continue to get destroyed. Obviously, my beautiful Tron is not getting destroyed at all. Like I said, my Tron position has crossed over 200% profit. Here's that right there for you guys to check out as well. All of my trades super transparent. You guys were asking me to do this for a long time, and I was like, no, I didn't really want to, but now my phone doesn't want to focus. Come back. There we go. 224% profit. Absolutely beautiful. I didn't really want to for a long time. I was already doing it with VIP members anyway, so it's not like I was trying to hide it. It was very, very noticeable for people that were inside of the VIP group, but now we're just doing it all kind of out in the open. If you do want to trade the way that I'm trading, then of course it is going to be with these beautiful links down below. Huge bonuses available. Like I said, CoinW, you don't even need to make a deposit, onto CoinW. You just have to open a futures account using my link, and that's it. You get 50 for free, which is super cool. And of course, if you do want to get inside VIP and really see how I'm trading these markets in real time, it is a very, very in-depth experience. Then you can jump in by following these steps on screen as well. So that's super cool. Still a lot more upside for Tron the way I see it. I think that there's some nice big pumps to come for Tron. Tron has basically killed all of its resistance. I don't see any resistance for Tron right now, to be honest. I've really got to, it's not like there's any clearly profiled ranges here that are problematic for Tron. I guess we could kind of put, this makes sense, about 10 cents there. Yeah, we could probably put a line right here. So, but we're quite far away from that right now. We're half a cent away, which does sound small, but, I'm trading this on 10x leverage. So fuck me, that's doubling my money again. If we get up there from the current price. So super cool. Obviously, already at 220% profit. It's worth noting, obviously, that, I take profits aggressively on my positions. So, I already took some profits before we got up this high, but still super happy with the position nonetheless. The S&P 500 is also starting to mount some sort of recovery. It's been very, very weak. Really very weak. This is the daily chart, and it was more or less relentless for nearly 2 weeks now, trending downwards and downwards. So to see that is finally stopping at least a little bit is a good sign. If it does lose this level, that is going to put the S&P 500 in a potentially quite weak position. But if we are able to capture some support here, then fucking well done, guys, because we had a big retracement here, and that's what led into this big move here. If this one can recover, then that's exactly what we need to start attacking that all-time high with some serious vigor. The problem is that if we don't and we just kind of roll over, then this is the most fucking typical bubble pop ever. It is exactly fucking 100% exactly what you would expect. Exactly what you would expect when the market is gonna, do something like, and I'm zooming out, I'm going on larger time frames. This is a seriously fucking bad chart. This is kind of what you'd start to expect, off this kind of, chart pattern if we start to lose these lows. So, pray. or not. It doesn't really matter. But if we do start losing those levels, that's the kind of long winter, that a lot of the bear porn guys have been hoping for. That's where, we're probably going to see a lot of unemployment and all the other, real world ramifications of the stock market, dropping massively. So it would not be good. That's safe to say. And the S&P 500 is walking right into that trap right now. Now, granted, it's really important to mention this. We have been in these kind of situations before, and they don't always materialize into disaster, much to the disappointment of those bear porn lovers. Here is another beautiful example of this. We can actually take a look at, this is kind of irrelevant because of this prior spike here, but just ignore it, act like the spike didn't happen, and you'll really start to understand my point. We had a big drop. We formed that, kind of, what do you call it? The disbelief rally. We started to drop. This is basically where we are right now. And then, you could make the same argument that that's over. This is the end of the market. But of course, we've seen how history played out. And there are so many examples of this. If you're patient with it and you want to actually go up, you want to actually go back and find them, you will find them. There are so many examples of this exact kind of situation playing out where we paint the classic chart that is about to end the bull market. We paint that chart and it still, recovers from there. So, trying to kind of pinpoint which one is actually going to be the one is incredibly difficult. You will sound smart, but you won't make that much money. So that's really important to keep in mind. That said, fuck me, guys. I have seen this before with Bitcoin, and it is the exact same chart. So, and I do want to just make this very, very clear. So we really need to see the S&P 500 kind of support itself. Otherwise, we're looking at, let's take a look at Bitcoin back in 2017, just to really kind of cast your memories back. We are looking at basically, a chart. It's so similar, guys. So similar. You get the big blow off top. You got this little weird thing here in the middle, and then you get the disbelief rally, and then it's just that. So, and the S&P 500, very similar in structure right now. Very, very similar. If we take a look at present day S&P 500, we've got all of the same signs. We've got that big blow off top. We've had this weird thing in the middle. We've had a larger disbelief rally. I'm nearly convincing myself, it's really bad. From a more kind of fundamental picture, it's very fair to say that these stocks that comprise of the S&P 500 are probably quite overvalued, which I can totally understand. Also worth noting that interest rates are very high, and when you keep dialing these things up, eventually you got to turn them back down, and that would have a positive effect on the markets, presumably. I say presumably, it's pretty much near guaranteed. But I'm not gonna go ahead and say that. We need to still apply nuance here because we're educated, intelligent people. So this is something I'm going to be watching quite closely. If this does turn into something that the S&P 500 can recover from, then fucking strap yourself in. That means the S&P 500 has stared death in the face. It's been shot with its final bullet, and it stands unfazed. To quote the great Andrew Tate. So that would definitely be a strong sign for the S&P 500 to continue to rally up. Almost certainly, break that all-time high. And, the positive implications of that, for example, for Bitcoin would be huge, I think. So, that would, we kind of go back to that discussion of bear market versus uptrend versus whatever, like where are we actually, what are we actually in? It's like I said, ultimately these questions don't matter. You can sit around all day trying to answer them, and good luck to you. But you're probably going to be wrong. Even if you're super smart, you're just probably going to be wrong. And you won't make as much money as a guy like me who doesn't really bother with those questions, who only really is interested in making money. Fuck me. I'm in the market to make money. You know what I mean? Like, man, if that's groundbreaking, but it kind of is these days. A lot of people, they're here for an intellectual pursuit rather than to actually make money. Which, again, I'm not knocking you, but if you're lying to yourself, then whatever. It's like I said, I do still think we're in a bear market, basically until proven otherwise. Breaking 30K proves otherwise quite a lot. I'll tell you what would prove otherwise even more is doing something a little bit like this, coming back down to capture some support here in the midterm, and then, really giving us that nice rocket ship ups to the upside. The good news is that 30K was the strongest area of resistance that I saw. So, now that we've broken that, there isn't really any strong resistance until we get back up into these 60s, anything comparative to 30K at least. So really, really good signs. I'm going to continue to watch this on the short term. I think this is where the opportunities are. I think quite safe to say, to be honest, that if we do start to lose areas of support like down here, at about 33.5, then yeah, there could be a short in play, or at the very least to consider some longs off this level. Definitely something that I'd be interested in. And then I'd be watching to see the upside and potentially even some of this resistance being broken as well. So that's what I'm going to be looking out for. I really hope that you have enjoyed this YouTube video. You know what to do. If you have, hit up the likes, subscribe, tick the bell, do all of that good stuff. Obviously, you've got huge offers available in the description down below. It all really helps out the channel as well. So definitely well worth checking out. To help me out, help you out. You get a huge amount of money for checking out these exchanges, up to $30,000 in bonuses with Bybit, which is super, super cool. Again, that is free trading capital that they give you when you start trading using my link. It might take a little bit of time. If you ever have an issue, my direct contact link is always right here on Telegram. This is directly to me, to my phone. Please contact me if you ever have an issue with any of the exchanges I've ever promoted or talked about. I want you to come to me and I will resolve them for you myself. I will make sure that you don't have any issues, because I've got good contacts at these exchanges, so I can always help you out. And yeah, you are getting, like I said, $50 for free just for opening a futures account. So very, very cool offer there. There you go, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, you know what to do, and I'll see you all in the next one.